Greetings, children, and welcome. Today we're talking more about geometry, and this is pretty basic geometry still. Today we're talking about plane shapes, so shapes in a plane. And we're not talking about like an airplane, right? We could draw an airplane, but it's not really what we're talking about today. So there we go, there's an airplane for you. So anyway, what we're talking about is shapes in a plane. So we said the other day that this board could be considered a plane, so shapes that we could draw on the board. The first one says a geometric figure is made up of points. That's our first definition here. And then we have plane geometric figures have all the points in the same plane. So the first figure we're going to talk about is a curve. Now, normally when people think of a curve, they think of either driving and the road curves like this, or they just think of some type of squiggly line. So both of those are types of curves. If you look in your book, it shows several different types of curves. Let me draw a couple. So this would be a curve when we have a squiggly line. We could have something that goes like this. That's a curve. But we could also have this, a straight line, or this. So those are all types of curves, and they're different types of curves. So let's take a look at the different types. We have what's called a simple curve, which is a curve that doesn't cross over itself. So any curve that we draw, whether it's made up of straight parts or squiggly parts, as long as it doesn't cross over itself, that's what's called a simple curve. And then we have something called a closed curve. Now, a closed curve would be something like this. It starts and ends in the same point. It's closed. So another closed curve would look like this. So these are both simple closed curves because it's simple, it doesn't cross itself, and it starts and stops in the same spot. Now it can also be squiggly. Okay, it doesn't have to have straight sides, and it doesn't have to be a circle. So those are all closed curves, but closed curves could also include things like this. So it starts and ends in the same place. That's not simple. So there's simple curves, and then simple closed curves. Simple closed curves are what we call geometric shapes. Now, there's the next topic your book touches on are similar shapes. It's the shape is the same, but different sizes. Then those are called similar shapes. So the angles have to match up, but the side lengths are different, but they'd be proportional. And then congruent shapes are ones that are the exact same size and shape. So two squares that are the same size and shape, we would call those congruent. The next topic that we have here is a polygon. So a polygon is a simple closed curve. So it's made up of points, and then it doesn't cross over itself. It starts and stops in the same place. And it's made up of line segments. So you've studied polygons before. Polygons are made of sides. Here's the simplest polygon, a triangle. We have a side here, another side here, and then a side here. And then it's made up of three angles as well, these three angles. And then the two sides meet at a vertex. The vertex is just like the vertex of an angle because it makes up an angle. So this shape is made of three angles, and we call it a triangle, right? So there's several different types of shapes that we're going to talk about. We can name shapes by their number of sides, and then we can name them in a couple different ways as well. So we have a triangle, that's three sides. We have a quadrilateral, quad means four. And then we have a pentagon. pentagon has 5, because penta means 5, the prefix. We have a hexagon. Hexagon has 6 sides. And then we have a heptagon. A heptagon has 7. So if you imagine that those are different sides there. And then an octagon. Most people are used to the octagon because we see it all the time. It's the shape of a stop sign, an octagon. A nonagon has 10, and this one's not in your book, or 9 I mean. A nonagon has 9, so 9-sided. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now this is what we call a concave shape, but this would a type of nonagon. And then a decagon has 10. So we have a decagon. It has 10 sides. So let's say we did, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's these different sides here. 10 different sides. You can see if we draw them with sides like that, they're becoming more and more what appear to be rounded. And then there's a hendecagon. A hendecagon has 11. A dodecagon has 12. And then there's other ones that have different numbers of sides as well. For example, there's an icosagon, which is 20 sides. And then there's other named shapes. But these are the main ones that you need to know. Triangle is 3, quadrilateral is 4, pentagon is 5, hexagon is 6, heptagon is 7, octagon is 9 or 8, nonagon is 9, decagon is 10. So you'll notice the prefixes septa or hepta is 7, and then octa is 8, nonagon is 9, decagon is 10. You've probably noticed these in months of the year. So octagon would mean that it would be the 8th month, nonagon, November, 9th month, and then decagon, December, deca. So that would be the 10th month. But you're probably thinking to yourself, well, that's wrong, because October is the 10th, and then November is the 11th, and December is the 12th. But that was what it originally was. We had some Roman emperors who changed our calendar, and that would be Augustus Caesar, and inserted a month for himself named August, and then Julius Caesar, who put in a month for himself named July. So they put those right before September, which sept means 7 as well. So September, October, November, December got pushed forward 2 months. So instead of their names actually making sense, now they don't. Okay. Next, let's take a look at special types of quadrilaterals. So your book mentions several of them. Let's take a look. So it says a special type of quadrilateral is a parallelogram, where its sides are parallel. So that would be a parallelogram. And then we have a rectangle. It's a type of parallelogram with right angles. And then we have a rhombus. A rhombus is a type of parallelogram, and all the sides are the same size. And then we have a square. And a square is actually a combination of a rhombus and a rectangle. So all the sides are the same. All the angles are right angles. And then we have one called a trapezoid. And a trapezoid has one pair of parallel sides, but the other sides are not parallel. So that makes it a trapezoid. So there's 5 special types of quadrilaterals. Notice they all have 4 sides, but they have special names as well. So when we're naming shapes, We name them by their corners, their vertices. So your book actually uses the word vertexes, but a more common word is vertices. They're both acceptable, but vertices is the one that you'll hear me saying. And to name a shape, for example, this one, if we had these labeled A, B, C, and D, we could say that this is parallelogram ABCD. Or you could say DCBA or BADC. You just have to go in some order, starting at one and ending at the one right before it. So those are some different shapes. You probably already know most of these. And if you don't, now you know. Thanks. Have a great day. Enjoy your geometry.